Well, hello everyone. Welcome. Long time no see. I This is the place for you to be. I hope you're having a great day. Let me welcome you to another exciting episode of Pharma Insights, the talk show brought to you by Platforms, where we explore the intersection of technology, strategy, and innovation in the pharmaceutical industry. My name is Juliana Creisel, and I will be one of your moderators for today. Digital transformation is sweeping across the globe, and the pharmaceutical industry is no exception. But how does this approach CRM and AI, especially in different regions? In this episode of Pharma Insights, we will take a deep dive into digitalization strategies driving innovations in LATAM, Europe, and the US. For this, we have prepared a special panel, but before we introduce them, you know that I don't like to do this by myself. Let me introduce my co-host for today, Mr. Stefan Repin. Hello, Steph. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great today. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to see all of these great people here, and uh, we have three nights from three different continents here. We have here US, we have here Europe, we have from Brazil, Alex. I'm super excited to be talking to them and getting a 360 degree on CRMs, on AI, on exact tactics, how to use that. So without further ado, let's lean into it.
Okay, then for our first night, I will say in Shining Armor from the US, we have Mr. Shanghai Chubei. Let me introduce him. Hello, how are you today?
Hi.
How are
I'm
you?
Yes, I'm doing great.
Happy to hear that. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here. Our second night will be Mr. Stefan Turnwell. Hello, representing the European region. Hi, Stefan. How are you?
Hi, hello.
And then, last but not the least, someone who is a neighbor from, I will say, my part of the country, Mr. Alex. Hello, Alex. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm fine. Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, our attendees, for joining this event. As you know, we would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions or comments, or you want to know something about whatever from our speakers, you can always drop your questions and comments in the comment section, and we will bring it to the panelists. So without any further delay, I will say let's start this event. Stefan, I know you have the opener.
I'll start with the opening goal today. So I want to greet everyone. Thank you so much for joining here, like guests, people, my grandma. Thank you, grandma, for coming today. So I want to start with my first question would be, let's just nail the nail into its head. So how is CRM and AI shaping customer engagement in your region? We're talking about Latin America, like Brazil here. We're talking about Stefan, Europe, and we're talking the US, Sanjay. Any unique trends you have noticed? Who wants to take this question?
Okay, since you introduced me first, maybe let me take the first tab at it. So, first of all, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. Uh, I am Sanjay Chaube. I am Vice President and CIO for North America for Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. We do have different CRM systems, Salesforce and Viva, which we use in our life sciences. Um, the typical CRM, the concept of CRM is there for quite some time, and so are the applications in this world, whether it is SAP-based CRM or Salesforce. But over a period of time, it has evolved to a level where uh, unless you intermingle it with AI, it does not really add that incremental or really that value to the entire transaction of working with customer. Um, I use the word transaction, but actually it is. It used to be the case when The CRM systems used to enable working with customers in a more transactional fashion. But now this movement from transactional to strategic, that possibility has been opened through AI. What we do is we look at what is happening in the customer's life. Customer transaction is not merely a talking to a customer, but it is knowing about customer, all about 360 degree of the customer, and then enable the process of reaching out to customer and working with them. And that is where AI ML comes into play. We track their Facebook, Twitter, Google post, and everything, and almost everything in their life, what is happening, their reports, and then enable through our models how to present our offering and how we can be more relevant in the conversation. And that portion of AI, along with the CRM aspect of having a business conversation through transaction, what makes sense to them becomes very easy. So Viva has enabled it, so has Salesforce, and we use a lot of those transactional tools. But the AI gives you that strategic aspect of enriching the conversation with them. So that is my take on this CRM and AI from the way I see it in North America.
Thank you, Kylie. Stefan, do you want to go next? Stefan Turnwell. We need to use last names because we have two Stefans. So
Stefan R and Stefan T and however we go to
like
make
that.
it. At least we are only two, so we do not need to go into kind of a number system.
Oh, DMS, Stefan 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's a lot of Stefans.
Yeah, I had that at school. Yeah. In my class, we had just 5 Stefans. So from that point of view, it's a little bit even more challenging. So I'm used to the kind of potential challenges coming up. Yes, I would like to talk to CRM AI, but I would like to use CRM and AI just for placeholders. And let me share my own experience over the last 25 years on the European side. And let's start with what everyone is discussing right now, next best action. The first time I've been involved in a next best action initiative has been, guess when? 2001. This has been when the handhelds, the palm devices became available, and companies bought it and companies discussed on how to use it in pharma. And there's been kind of 2 groups. One group discussing on how a palm device could be used to make information accessible to reps so they can have an informed decision on how to deal with customers. And the other group discussed on how those palm devices could be used to even better micromanage the rep in what he or she is doing. And I would use this for a kind of a framework for the overall discussion we are taking on today, because it's not only next best action. Because in the end, there's been a new technology on the back end, but in the end, it's been the same question. Do we use these tools to enable reps, or do we use these tools to micromanage reps? Or in other words, do we want to have informed orchestrators, or do we want to have orchestrated executors? And I think when we look into the differences across regions, or even within regions across countries, many of the differences are due to the fact we have a different idea and a different perception of the rep role. And if we want to go into an in-depth discussion, I think we need to be very clear what we are talking about. Do we talking about ensuring the right message is delivered, or do we talking about establishing the rep for a trusted communication platforms that earns the right to communicate to customers in a meaningful way? Because then everything would be, or we would need to consider things slightly differently. And just to wrap it up, I started with next best action. This is CRM in general. Yeah? I've been involved in many CRM discussions over the last 25 years. The to-do list and the deliverables, they've been the same. It's been a copy-paste exercise. Other ideas like 360 view on customers, this is also not new. This is what popped up 12, 15 years ago. And with AI right now, what my take on AI is, it's another way to do analysis, and it allows us to digest larger amounts of information at a higher speed with a higher accuracy. But nevertheless, it's an extrapolation of the past into the future, and we need to look into how we integrate this into the overall business process to make it meaningful to both customers and our own folks, the employees, at the interface to external stakeholders.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Alex, do you want to give your take?
Sure. So thanks everyone for the opportunity. So just to present myself, I'm Alex Sanguiquian. I'm digital manager and CRM manager in Sandoz, Brazil. I have been working not only in pharmacy industry, but financial and also in energy industry. So I'm very excited to be here and also learn from everyone. One of my points about the use of generative AI in the pharmacy industry, and also when it comes to the usage of CRM and the sales reps, is that first of all we need to solve a problem using this technology, because technology per technology, it doesn't make sense. We need really to improve customer experience and etc. And one of the challenges that I see that maybe generative AI can help us to tackle is the issue that the sales rep, most of the time there are researchers that show that 60-70% of the time of the sales rep is not face-to-face with the customer, but working on administrative tasks. So I believe that AI is here to tackle those issues and provide more time for the sales rep to be with the customer, engaging the customer, and not only working in the back end in repetitive tasks. I believe that tackling this issue, we have an improvement of customer experience as a result of implementation of generative AI.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I can see Stefan nodding and say yes.
I think this is very, very important because in the end we need to look at it from multiple perspectives. And what I see there's the perspective of the customer. So how can we bring value? How can we bring positive experiences through our engagement to customers? There's the other end. Those are the sales excellence functions in the headquarters. So the key question is, if we address CRM, whom is the CRM going to serve? Is it geared towards the front end, or is it geared towards the back end? And then there's also a third player I would consider with a detailed view on experiences, and that's the reps, or that's the customer engaging folks, whether they are in the field, whether they're sitting in a contact center, whether they're pressing the button on a keyboard in the headquarters. But with whatever we put in place, we also need to consider what is the experience we offer to our employees. Because if we ask employees to do things in the face of customers they're not feeling comfortable about, we will not have sustainability of our investment into our customer interface.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely agree. So I'll just add something here, Stefan, in what you just said. 100% agreed. Actually, we were working on, and actually we have deployed something called nudge engine to our CRM. So when the sales rep goes and talk to the customers, our enabled AI gives a different type of nudge that, hey, when you're talking about this, bring up this product as well, or talk about this. When you are talking, why don't you cover this, different types. So depending on the customer profile, which we determine what the customer would like to hear, which type of customer they are they price sensitive, or are they, a strategic customer, and different type, right? So we create different type of nudges. And you brought a point which was very, very good, Stefan, is where do we stop? And are we trying to micromanage or do the backseat driving to our sales rep? Or is it a nice user experience? So we are still struggling with it. But they sometimes feel that these nudges are very good, because when you are in the conversation, many times you forget. And these nudges really help. To the extent that when they are planning a trip and they are trying to go to or meet with 2-3 people, we help them create the path that they should go first, talk to this guy, these are the script they should talk to, and when they're talking, hey, don't forget to talk about this. And if they're confirming, give some kind of feedback. That was great. But then we are still struggling how far we want to go. But these are some of those use cases of AI into this entire conversation and enablement of sales overall strategy.
Is it okay if I ask you a question right now exactly on what you're describing?
Sure.
Because when you approach customers, I would assume you have your segmentation logic in place to decide on how the customer equity is, how the adoption is of a product. And based on that, you decide on what you want to invest in the customer engagement and what you do, what you're aiming for. The funny story is, why are we not considering our reps or all the folks? I'm speaking of reps right now, kind of like a placeholder, because I don't differentiate if I have a customer-facing colleague in the field, in a contact center, or sitting at a computer screen and pressing a key in the headquarters. To me, it's all the same. It is engaging with customers in different ways. But the important thing is, if we would consider those colleagues our internal customers, basically the internal end users of what we bring to the customer interface, couldn't we segment them the same way? The way I'm looking at it is, I usually go by quintiles. So the highest quintile in terms of performance and execution excellence, I do not want to micromanage them. I would like to trust in what they do. Then the lowest quintile, I would not like to waste resources on them. The middle 60%, I would assume some of them could deal with a certain level of guidance to do the right thing. And even when I'm looking into the top quintile, they may do perfect in a certain number of customers, but in others they struggle. So now they can again use a guidance you give. I think if we would have a more differentiated view on our own folks, we also could have a much better idea on how we could use data, analytics, suggestion engines, however they are built, in the support of the individual user of what we bring to play.
Perfect, Stefan. And this is exactly what is called asked and answered. So you already answered.
No, I'm really interested. Are you doing this in your organization?
See, every organization is a different way of categorizing and segregating their sales process. But somewhere we do the similar things. That's why I said asked and answered.
Perfect.
Good.
Guys, we have a question from the audience. Let me showcase it here. In the context of Latin America's unique market dynamics, how are CRM and AI technologies reshaping customer engagement strategies? Will you share a specific trend or challenge you have encountered? I think this is for Alex because it's from Latin, but anyone can answer as well from their own region. Sorry, on region and give us a little bit of light. But let's start with Alex. Alex?
Sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you for the questions. Yes, I can start. I believe that, as I was mentioned before, the usage of AI here, within the CRM for pharmacy industry, is related to creating a customization of communication with the HCPs. Basically, what we want to build, what I'm seeing in the Latin market, is the creation of a journey in which the sales rep have information in their hands previous to their visits. So they understand the behavior of the customer, their engagement, what kind of content they're engaging in the social media, within our own platforms for pharmacy industry and etc. And they can better engage with the conversation with the HCP. I believe that this customization based on data is the first step that we are working on currently. And as a consequence, the main challenge that I see for this is data management, because we're not talking only about external management of data, but also our own data, and how structured is this data to be consumed by a generative AI. So if we talk about this, we need to have a really structured background of database to feed those apps. So this is a big challenge, I believe, that for main companies here in Brazil, or I believe, and other countries here in South America, because most of the companies don't have yet all the skills, or all the data steward, data management system in order to feed a generative AI the way they should. So we're still working on creating these steps on data management to better fulfill this purpose of customization. And also, as a consequence, I see a lot of issues and tasks that must be tackled about compliance, about legal, about all the regulatory aspects of this, because here we're talking about plugging different sources of data to provide this information not only to the sales rep but also to the HCP. So we need to be very careful about this, having a committee of compliance to better understand how we should deal with this data, what level of customization we should do, and also understand the data privacy issues that are involved in this. So there's a lot going on, as you see, but we have a lot to tackle to reach the level that we still want to achieve.
Thank you, Alex, for your answer. Shanghai or Stefan, either one's want to tackle that in respect of your regions, or even as a comparison, um, in terms of the what Alex answer, or we move.
I think from North America point of view, I had already covered the similar aspect about CRM and AI.
Yes.
Um, uh, Latin America, I think I will trust the answer which was provided earlier by Alex. But
Okay.
in general, I think I had covered this aspect.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Stefan, do you have another
Yeah.
question? Uh, Stefan Repping. Sorry.
Yeah, I do always come with questions. Yeah, that's like my default, right? Um, I think I want to get more into depth into this. Like I've heard us talking a lot about AI and regions, but are there any, like, I want our audience, I want all of us to be inspired by what we talked around here. So, are there any inspiring examples that you've seen implemented, or like any digital solutions, or AI or not, that have transformed business processes and customer engagement? We obviously talk about AI, but in particular, are there any inspiring examples you've seen in your own company You can, or somewhere else, you can leave anonymous. You don't need to tell us what company is it. But any example, any practical examples would help a lot for us to know.
So, Stefan, as you know, I have a hard stop in 5 minutes, so maybe I will quickly go and talk about in 1 or 2 minutes. Um, so, what we have done in our organization is we have created different views of product, customer, market, and competition. Who all are our competition? What is our product? How is our customer? And what is the prevailing market situation? So we call it 360 view for all four. And then we have our own data lake. We do not rely on the provisioning by a third party, but we have our own data lake where we take all the different types of data, whether it is related to product, competitors, customers, and in general the market situation. I'll give you an example that we scrape close to 50,000, 53,000 web pages for our competition and product and market. Just and keep that every day what's happening into our data lake. Similarly, the streaming data, Twitter, Facebook, and all of those, just to get a sense about what's the market, where the market is, what the market forces are, and disruptions. And then we try to draw where we can, what are the opportunities and where are the risks. We find an opportunity and risk. That is where we calibrate. And for us, CRM is a tool which facilitates to converse with the customers. So with the tool and with all this knowledge which we share with our people who talk to the customers, we try to keep the conversation relevant. And Alex had talked about some Gen AI. We also do that because we have got so much data. We use Gen AI to do a lot of summarization and to be to the point, etc. And then we enable our salespeople to go and talk. Some of those nudge engines which we are talking about, that is the outcome of all those pre-work which was done or which is being done. So wanted to give you some sense about where this is all going in a all integrated fashion, but this is what we are doing.
Thank you. We have a question. We actually have quite a few questions, but the first one is actually directed. Cultural plan well ahead, I assume. We're going back to the topic that you were discussing, Shanghai. Why AI will hit the rep on the spot instead of on the planning stage? Example, please.
Yes. So calls, so there are two types of calls. Some of those calls are pre-planned touch points when you are having a conversation. Now, the topic of the call, let's say in a typical any call, you have certain agenda item, but how to shape that agenda, that is where the AI would help. How to go about whether the call is about the pricing, whether the call is about the fulfillment area, or whatever may be the agenda. The AI definitely helps the conversation by, first of all, let's say if a call is about a product, then can you also put in additional product as a cross sell opportunity? Can you add those? So this is where the AI comes in play. um, Different areas. So cross sell is just one, but we have got so many areas where you can augment the conversation or enable the people to make more value out of those. Hope I answered.
Thank you. Thank you kindly. We have another question from Malan. It says, which digitalization trends do you see will have the greatest impact on the future, and how the regulations or law will have an impact there, especially on AI? What do you think, Stefan?
Yeah, I will trust Stefan to answer. And thank you, everyone. Sorry I have to drop off, but thank you. And it was
Thanks.
nice meeting with you and talking to you. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, that's a good question. What is the trend having the greatest impact? I would say the trend that successfully is implemented. And why I'm saying it in this kind of vague way is that what I've been doing recently has been analyzing what are the discussions on LinkedIn on use cases for AI. And I've been presenting this at a conference just a few weeks ago. And what I came up with is a list I put together one day late at night. I've been sleeping over it. In the morning when I woke up, I had a strange feeling that I have seen such a list before. And the funny thing is, I found the list, and this has been kind of a slide we put together to reason the implementation of the Siebel CRM system in 2002.
Okay.
Okay, so one good thing, it's still the same business, because otherwise we would not have had the same topics. But the other funny thing is right now to think almost 25 years later that AI will solve everything, I think is a little bit a challenge. I truly believe we need to reconsider what's driving our business in a much more detailed, in a much more granular way. Just giving you, sharing a few observations with you. In 2000, I started in big pharma in the training department, and I've been responsible for onboarding of reps. What we've been training reps that time, what we challenged them to do, what we've been delivering to them in terms of psychology of decision making, influencing skills, nudging skills, and all of that. Nowadays, I often cannot even discuss with senior leaders and decision makers in organizations. So the key question is, what has changed? And what has changed is that in many cases, we've been kind of lowering down the profile of our activities and our customer engagement to the level we easily could handle with new technology. So the key question is the technology again serving the customer interface and the customers, or is what we do right now what we still could be capable to do with what we have in place? And my ask is really to reconsider a better understanding of what drives our business in a given market. And I truly believe the differences across the regions are not in average as big as the differences across different countries within a region. Yeah. Many times there are more gaps or more differences in the way of working. And then to better understand what solution makes the most sense in improving the business. And it could be that in one country it's one channel, in another country it's another channel. A very important channel in digital communication in Germany still is fax.
What?
Now you could say, okay, at least they moved away from using drums for far distant communication. But there's a reason. The reason is that in Germany, the ask in terms of data privacy is so high that in many businesses, you cannot use just an email platform to share content. This is why many many medical services, like lab services, they use fax because it's a safe channel. Same happens to law firms. But understanding these particularities allows you to choose the best channel in a given moment. And the same is for whatever technology we address.
I love it. I didn't know that. Thank you. That's a very nice fact that it will probably be installed in my brain from centuries now. Alex, do you have do you want to give your insights, or do you want to move to the next question? Because people are starting to ask their questions. I like that. So,
Great.
Alex,
I can go to the next question if you want.
okay, let's go to the next one. Says, where are the primary drivers of digital innovation in the pharmaceutical industry and how do they compare to global trends?
Yeah, this is a tricky one.
You said the next one. You didn't say what.
Yeah, yeah, but it's great. It's great. I believe that the answer for this question is it depends on the market. It depends on the pain of each company and what they're facing. You know, there's no one size fits all from the point of view of technology. So we need to understand the go-to-market of the companies, what they are facing, the kind of behavior, the customer engagement they want to reach in. So I believe that there's different types of innovation, digital innovation that must be implemented for each pain. For instance, here in Brazil, we have been working, we have an environment of major number of independent pharmacies. That is very different from Europe, I believe.
Yeah.
So we need to work with the engagement of independent pharmacies to buy from us. So in order to do this, we must create a digital solution, innovation solution for this. But it's completely different, I believe, that from Switzerland that we're here. It's a total.
Interestingly, it's not. It's really country by country. There are kind of different practices established, and in the German speaking markets, you have kind of a lot of kind of syndicated pharmacies, yeah? But
Okay.
you also have individual pharmacies. So you have basically both. And it's a very interesting point you raised, because you may need to have different solutions in place if your market is more diverse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's
Definitely.
interesting. Please,
Yeah.
Alex.
And when we talk also about the HCP engagement strategies, there's another topic that we need to better understand, because now we are talking about different companies, pharmaceutical companies, trying to reach the attention of a group of HCPs. So how we deal with this? We spend a lot of money creating our own portal, creating our own digital campaigns to engage them and fight with the other companies. They're trying to do the same, reaching the same HCP. So we have seen a lot of researches that shows that most of the HCPs are not interested at all of reading about their own fields of specialty in a pharmaceutical portal.
Yeah.
They prefer to go to PubMed. I would do that. So it's something that we need to understand. Where is the customer, where they want to find the information, how we can deliver our message in the right channel, and creating for this partnerships, creating with this something that really engage them and solve a problem of them, and not only fighting for their attention. This is a challenge, and that also is related to customization and how to understand their behavior and create the right journey for a customer.
I like that. I think that from the amount of events, and this is from my side, I have not been involved in pharma for my past for professional experience, but now I gain so much insights into how it works and how similar it is in some cases. How it, for example, the facts that Stefan Turnwell, that you, Stefan, brought into the table, that brings the idea of how important it is to keep the information and the confidentiality and the regulations, and how big that impact it is into the implementations of the new technologies. And we had a conversation with Claudia Angiani. I love her. And she told me that we sometimes have the tools already to implement. She's from the more marketing area, but she said that we sometimes have the tools already to implement what we want to do, but we forgot what is the main focus. And I think you guys brought it into the table. What is our main goal here? And it's not to have all the shine toys, but to have the specific toys that fit into our market, fit into our regulations, and caught the attention of the HCPs. Because as Alex said, we're bombarding them with information, but they do not really care for that bombarding. They want something more, I will say, kind of a specific, or kind of a fun way to get information at the end. So thank you for that. We have another question for both of you guys. This is from Bisal. He says, does pharma companies promote the usage of OpenAI Gemini, which in the organization for work-related stuff? Do you guys know? Do you want to disclose?
So first of all, hi to Visal. Let's put it that way. What are we using AI for? Because right now, the way I would describe it is, as with many of the previous technological transformations, we first apply what is new to within the old box.
Sure.
The old box in which we've been used to do business for the last 25 years. So in other words, it's just an attempt to try to do the same thing better with what's available now. I truly believe, especially because of AI right now, is a game changer in a way as the impact will be much bigger, and the impact will also happen at much higher speed as compared to previous technology transformations. I think we need to think of early on in what way AI will kind of make us, or even force us, breaking out of this old cardboard box. And this is something very, very important. What my thinking is right now, if you look at it from an employee point of view, employees don't care for whether this is machine learning or this is generative AI. For an employee, they are facing, or they're exposed to AI in their private life. Yeah? Just try to contact an insurance company or even your health insurance, and you may not have the best first AI experience in your life. Yeah? You experience AI in your company with your employer, but then it's embedded by the HR department, the IT department, to have less distress with dealing with internal folks. Again, it's not the best experience you have. Then there's the AI that everyone is talking about, the hype, and you have no clue what it is about, as many do not have talking about it. And then there's the AI potentially putting your job at risk. And maybe there's the AI that could become a career opportunity. But there's one general thing I would like to wrap this up with. And this is, I do not believe that AI will totally eliminate in-person or personal engagement in the pharmaceutical industry. I even think that with all the new content created based on Gen AI, there's even an additional value of a rep, of a trusted representative when it comes to choosing the right relevant content. I think the rep will not be replaced by AI totally. I think a rep not using AI will be for sure replaced within the next 2 years by a rep using AI. And now it's becoming tricky because many use AI already in their private life. Like I call it app as AI as a product, the app you use on your iPhone. Yeah? My mother, 78 years of age, she's using AI. She's not knowing about it, but this app is translating better than Google Translate. Yeah. So this is the one thing. If now employees want to use AI in a business context, and companies are overly scared to because of potential compliance issues, then the workforce will not be able to learn and adopt AI in a proper way. So this will be then a disadvantage on the job market. I truly believe that this will have a huge impact on the job market rather sooner than later. I expect this to happen within the next 6 to 9 months. If a company is not allowing me to use AI, this company is not preparing myself for the future.
True. True. Alex, your insights? Do you want to share something?
Yeah, for sure. Totally agree. I believe that this is a journey in which the companies are still struggling to understand the consequences of the usage of AI, data privacy issues, compliance issues. We have an increasing evolution of AI agents and etc. So there's a lot going on in technology. It's hard to go in the same pace with the technology, with the regulation. They're always behind us. So it's easy to understand why some companies is still not introducing the usage of AI. But I totally agree. I believe there is a matter of time for them to be able to deal with these legal issues and be able to provide this experience for their customers, because we know there is something that came to stay. So it's very important for the employees to have this all this technology to rely on to improve the productivity, the automation at work. We have been seeing a lot of other things, and in the past, well, we were talking about it. For instance, the automation, the robots that we create to engage in different websites, automation inside our own work. For instance, usage of Python to reduce manual tasks that we previously have been working. That's something that we don't discuss anymore. So they are implemented in the companies. I believe that the same thing will happen with the usage of generative AI, and I believe that it's a matter of time for we evolve in our compliance to be able to provide this to all the employees.
Thank you. And I have a question regarding, we talk about the compliance and regulations that need to, I will say, get adequate to the time or to include into the scope, I will say, how we can use it. But and this is something that I just remembered, but I do not know exactly where I heard of. But there is a word about the loose, or the not loose, but the information or the data, the privacy of the data that you guys can get into your company. There is a word about how that information can be, I don't want to say misuse, but can be made known to competitors or to others. So how will that, I will say, impact into the fastest or slower incorporation of the AI tools into the companies or in the market? Stefan, do you want to tackle that?
I think this is the big question, whether to have on-premise solutions for AI, or to have secure cloud-based services that in the end protect the data you're putting into the system. This is one aspect, but I see a lot more opportunities to use AI in a way that not potentially is conflicting with any data security or privacy considerations, because there's so many standardizable admin-driven processes you could use AI for. And even when it comes to the aspect of bring your own AI, and this is a topic in many organizations today, I think organizations should learn a lot from how employees use AI today. If you go with the joint report by Microsoft and LinkedIn, released early this year on the future of work, based on that report, the adoption of AI at the workplace, based on bring your own AI, is ranging somewhat 68 to 90 something % across the generations. So there's not even a big difference among the generations. There is a high adoption. So from that point of view, adopting AI way of working in an enterprise environment should not be a problem of the employees. The key question is, are the companies having the right approach to deploy it in a way employees see a value in picking it up?
Thank you. Thank you. Alex, do you want to give your insights? Or
Yeah, sure. I believe that when it comes to the data privacy issue, that's something that we need really to deeply understand of each country, and each country, each region has their own regulations about it. So how to deal with the data management issues and the usage of AI. We recently have seen here in Brazil, social media, big platforms having trouble with the local compliance, local laws regarding the usage of data from the customer directly from what we gather from what is open in the web. So this is something that generative AI rely on. So if we're going to use this kind of platforms, we need to understand as well this kind of challenges or how we deal with this. And we have been talking with several startups here about the usage of public data when we talk about it. That's not so public because if I publish something on my website, for instance, my personal website, how public is that? Do I need to consider that someone is going to use my content for other purpose? This is public or not? So this is something that we have to understand and better understand how to deal with this, because it's something new. So we are bringing new discussions here to the table. And the usage of generative AI, I think it is boiling all those kind of discussions, and it's something that when it comes to the usage of this kind of technologies by companies or healthcare companies, we really need to have a deeper understanding of regulations on how we're going to use, and not simply plug in and then understand what will be the consequences. We need to really understand the consequences of usage of this data that we have on the internet.
thank you. Thank you kindly. Stefan Repin, do you have a question or comment you want to add?
We haven't. So it was. So far, it's been going great. I love it, but we haven't all answered to the question about exact usage. And Sanjay answered the question, and then he left. But we haven't given this question to my dear Stefan and Alex. So if you guys could come up with and more concrete example of usage, that would be great. Just top up the great conversation we had so far, right?
Okay.
Okay, who's going to start?
You
Whoever
can start.
wants.
Go on.
I would like to share something slightly different.
Please.
And this is when COVID kicked in. I've been working with field forces across Europe on finding solutions to better reconnect with customers. And the idea was that there might be digital opportunities that will be perfect to exactly do so. To my own surprise, the solution that worked the best was far from digital. It was sending postcards.
Whoa.
Why? Because after a few weeks of exploring opportunities, one rep came up with the insight that what's not reaching accounts in times of a lockdown is colorful postcards from holiday destinations. So instead, you can send a colorful postcard from your hometown. And it's not easy necessarily to get a postcard from each and every hometown, but they managed. They bought the stamps, they sent it, they had a more than 80% return rate on the postcard. And that enabled then more digital and remote engagement over time. Yeah? The challenge is this a strategic channel on the mix of a pharmaceutical company? No. Yeah, it's even difficult to share this experience. But at the same time, I think whenever we look into examples of what works, for example, in Spain during the lockdown, many pharmaceutical companies used messenger messages to stay connected with customers. So Spain has been the country with the highest adoption of messengers. To the moment, customers were bombarded with messenger messages, so they dramatically dropped to the end of COVID because they've been fed up with messages.
Huh.
In other countries, it's been similar with email, approved email approaches. I think it's always important to understand the engagement behavior of your local customers. And I would always go with that and explore what works with them in a trial and error approach. And by the way, there is no error, because
True.
the error is learning on what's not working as good, which is putting the organization in a better shape. If you do that, I think you will be much more successful as if you would try to copy best practices from other geographies or even from other brands.
I like it. I like
And
it.
there are so many examples of what surprisingly worked anyone has been thinking of in the beginning.
I'm going to add my 5 cents. We here at Platforms, I was considering sending to get more webinar subscribers, to get better engagement. I was considering postcards actually. The biggest problem for us was doubt I had was that if I send the postcards to people, how long is it going to take for the post to arrive? By that time it might be already a different webinar, So, but the idea was to send them a postcard and send the QR code, so people can go to and just scan your phone and you get to the webinar and then you subscribe. And another tactic that I've seen work very well, in particular with pharma, is it's like basically phone calling and saying, hey, there is a webinar going, there is a whatever podcast coming, please join tomorrow at this time. And this in particular is working well with pharma. I know companies in pharma who do that, and this telco stuff, which is long forgotten, it is working with them. It's just we don't have phone numbers like for subscribers. So
And
possibly
I will watch the race if you have me calling. I don't know how many attendees.
possibly next year we're gonna try a few things. One of them is getting more engaging
Yeah.
forums. The other one is maybe we'll start calling, asking for numbers, and say we won't bother you, but we'll just remind you about our.
Yeah.
I like it. I think that at some point we've forgotten, and this happened in the industry, I will say for events, for example, we've forgotten that we're human and we like the contact. We like the face-to-face and the warmth of being a human. It's not the same as being on the computer or in a video call. That's why, for example, conferences and trade shows are still going during this time, even though we have the technology to make it virtual. People are actually traveling all over the world and going, correct? Because we like that. We like the cocktail hour. Stefan, I know Stefan
I know,
traveled. You like it.
I like this. Last week, I've been moderating the debate on in-person versus digital at the Reuters Pharma event in London.
There you go.
And what I suggested to the debaters was that those taking a position on digital, I would not expect them to be in the room.
Interesting. I like
They
it.
should send in their messages, or at least what I would accept is maybe a remote connection. But if they really think of digital is the one thing, they shouldn't be in the room. But on the other hand, I have to say, and this is same as with AI, nowadays reps and everyone at the customer interface, you need to have a much more focus on the productivity of what you're doing. So nowadays, a rep touch point, an in-person touch point is very expensive. So the question number one, how do you maximize the impact of this touch point? What can you do with digital before and after to increase efficacy? That's part number one. Part two, is it needed?
Mm.
Where is my customer on an adoption step, on a decision step of a decision journey? Is the in-person needed, or is potentially another digital channel even more powerful than showing up at the customer's office? I think this is something we need to consider, not having a discussion of the one or the other. When we deploy technology, we need to have the understanding of what we are going to deploy it to and for what outcome. This is my only ask, basically, in the industry. If we would have a crystal clear understanding what we do and what for, I think we would have a better and a different discussion.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Guys, we are on time. So I don't know, Alex, if you want to give your closing remarks, because Stefan, let me tell you, that was impressive. You didn't know it was a closing remark, but kind of worked. But 1 second, Alex left. No, he's here. Alex, do you want to give your a little bit of a closing remark? Leave something with the audience with?
Sure. So thank you very much for the opportunity. It's something that I like to leave with everyone. So anyone that has questions can contact me anytime. Feel free to do this. And also leave everyone with a message that understand the pain, understand the behavior of the users, the first channel for the implementation of any technology. So this is something that we like to leave here with everyone as a takeaway for the session. Thank you.
Thank you kindly. Stefan Turnwald, do you want to give you want to give another?
Done already.
You gave already your closing remark. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Remember to like this, follow our speakers. They have completely amazing insights, so you want to follow them. We will see you on our next talk show, and have a great day. So bye bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.